In this video, we'll be demonstrating how to navigate to your employee portal from your applicant portal, and also how to access your new hire paperwork and view your new hire task list. So from your applicant portal, what you'll want to do is just refer to the top of your web page where you'll have a highlighted message congratulating you on your position at CSU Stanislaus. And at the end of this message, you will have a link that'll take you to your employee portal, which on the right-hand side of your portal, there will be a task list. And under this task list, you'll see a bunch of different items with deadlines for either before your first day, during your first week, maybe even later on, and so on and so forth. But what you will want to do to access your new hire paperwork, which you will want to submit within the first week of your employment, is located right under the before your first day items. Something I did want to mention really quickly before clicking on that link is that the deadlines off to the right of each task, they are there to make sure that you do submit the task on time. However, if you do submit a task past its deadline, that will not affect your employment eligibility, and so I did just want to mention that. But once clicking on that link, it'll pull up a small pop-up window, and you'll want to click the open button at the bottom, and then that'll take you to this web page where you'll be able to download your new hire paperwork. The new hire paperwork for special consultants and casual workers does begin with the employee action request form. What you will want to do as you are completing this first form of the new hire paperwork packet is in section B, select the new employee box to indicate that you are a new employee to the CSU. Then in section C, you'll want to go ahead and enter your social security number, followed by your last name, and then your first name and middle initial. And then if you have had a name change within the last year, you will want to include that former name as well. And then that'll take you to section E, which is the withholding change for new employees, or the taxing section. And so we'll go through each of the sections within section E, or I guess I should call them subsections, one by one. So the first subsection is federal withholding, or your federal taxing section. If you are going to want federal taxes taken out of your paycheck, what you will want to do in this section is first indicate whether or not you are a non-resident alien by marking the box 1 or leaving it blank. And then you will want to indicate your marital status by selecting single, married, or head of household. And then from there, you will want to come up to the hire withholding box. Hire withholding is a section where it is asking you if you would like to have a higher amount taken out of your paycheck each month for taxes. If you would like to have higher withholding taken out, then you will want to select Y in this box. It may pre-fill with Y, so then you may not need to do it. Otherwise, if you do not want higher withholding taken out each month, you will want to select No. And then from there, you will go ahead and move to the claim dependence box. In this box, you will be entering in the dollar value equivalent of the dependents that you are going to be claiming. And so because you aren't entering in the actual amount and instead a dollar value that will represent that amount, how you will find that will be by using the following equation or algebra formula. So what you will want to do is take the number of dependents that you have under 17 or are 17 and multiply that by 2,000. And then you will want to add that to the number of dependents you have over 17 that is multiplied by 500. And then once you add those two values together, that will give you the dollar value equivalent of your dependents that you can then put into this claim dependence box. From there, in the other income box, you'll go ahead and enter the annual amount of income that you receive outside of any jobs you work. And then right below there, if you do have any deductions you would like taken out, you would go ahead and enter the amount right there. At the very bottom of this subsection, there is a blurb pertaining to exemption from federal withholding, which if you do know for a fact that you don't owe a single cent to the IRS, then you absolutely could enter exempt into this section. However, if you are unsure of whether this is applicable to you or not, I would recommend leaving it blank for now and reaching out to a tax professional to confirm if this is an applicable option for you. Moving on to the second subsection, state allowances. This will be the box for your state taxes, and to complete this box, if you are wanting to have state taxes taken out of your paycheck, then you will want to first select your marital status by selecting either single or married with 2 or more incomes, or married with 1 income, or head of household. And then in the regular allowance box, you can go ahead and put the number of dependents that you are claiming. You won't have to enter the dollar value equivalent into this box. Instead, just the number will be fine. And then the additional allowances box can be left blank if you are not currently providing for any individuals that you do not usually provide for. On the contrary, if you are providing for anyone you don't usually provide for, then you can add them into this additional allowances box. The next subsection, section 3, is additional deductions. So if you did have additional federal or state deductions that you would like taken out, then you can go ahead and enter those specific amounts into these boxes right here. And then subsection 4 is going to be separate from the first 3 subsections, as it is exemption from withholding. So if you do not want any taxes taken out of your paycheck, be they federal and or state, then you will want to select the exempt option and enter exempt into this box. That will be the only box you'll need to complete in this case. Otherwise, if you did want taxes to be taken out of your paycheck, then you will want to complete boxes 1 and 2 for sure, and additional deductions is optional. And then subsection 5, non-taxable wages. This will be an area that you can fill out if you are receiving wages from the state, either as the minister of a church, a non-resident alien, or collecting wages from a deceased employee, which if any of those 3 options are applicable, you can go ahead and mark the box in this subsection and then select the applicable option in the drop-down menu as well. And then from there, you'll go ahead and move to section F, where you'll go ahead and enter in your employee address. This doesn't necessarily have to be your residential address. This just has to be an address that you would like to receive your taxing documents at, such as your W-2 form. This address can be updated later on as well, just like the taxing information, if you do want to update your taxing information at any point in time. And then in section G, this is an area where you can list any other California state and or public agencies that you've previously been employed at, if you do want to indicate that information. And then in section H, you'll go ahead and list your date of birth. And then in section I, you'll go ahead and sign and date. You'll notice that the signature section in section I does not have a fillable text box already loaded in. In order to sign the form, you'll have to download the Adobe Sign tool, which is entirely free and available to download through the same area that you downloaded the new hire paperwork from. And then section J will be for an HR representative to sign and complete after they've reviewed all of your new hire paperwork. And so now moving on to the next form in the packet, it is the Notice of Exclusion from CalPERS membership for state agencies. To complete this section, you'll want to fill in section 1, and then you'll want to fill out section 2. Something worth mentioning is that there are some fields in section 2 and right below section 2 that will be pre-filled with your job title, and have some specific boxes already checked so that you do not have to check them again. Once you've filled out sections 1 and 2, you'll want to go ahead and sign and date at the bottom of the page. And again, you'll notice that there is not a fillable signature section, so you will need that Adobe Sign tool to go ahead and sign in this section. And then the next form is the statement concerning your employment in a job not covered by Social Security. And the purpose of this form is to attest that you are aware that the earnings that you are earning in the position that you have been hired into does not contribute to Social Security. So because of that, you cannot claim Social Security from this specific position. And so what you will want to do in this section is enter your name, and then you will want to enter your employee ID, which will be provided to you by HR via email. And then you will want to enter your employer name, which will be CSU Stanislaus. And then the employer ID, you can actually go ahead and leave blank. And then at the bottom of the page, you'll use that Adobe Sign tool to go ahead and sign and then date the form. The next page in the paperwork is the designation of persons authorized to receive warrants. What you'll want to do in this section is first list your name as first, middle, and then last name. And then you are required to list one primary designee. The contingent designees are optional and not required, but the primary designee does need to be filled out. And then right below that contingent designee section, you will want to go ahead and list your employee home address, and then you will want to go ahead and sign and date. And then the last form of the paperwork packet is the direct deposit form, which is actually an optional form. You are not required to complete this. We have direct deposit in case you would like to enroll into it. And so to enroll in direct deposit, what you would want to do is fill out sections A, B, and C. You'll mark the new box in section A and then enter your Social Security number, and then your first name, middle name, and then last name. Then in section B, you'll go ahead and indicate which type of account you're depositing into, be it a savings account or checking account. And then you'll want to go ahead and list your routing number and depositing account number. And then you'll want to go ahead and list the name of the bank and then the bank address. And then the address you enter into this line right here doesn't have to be the specific address that you go to for your bank. It can be any address that the bank is located at. And then in section C, you'll want to go ahead and mark this box next to the signature section, as this box is an attestation that 100% of your paycheck will be deposited into a bank account that is within U.S. jurisdiction or law. And then right next to it is where you will be able to sign and date the form. And then one thing to note about direct deposit is that it does take 30 to 90 days to fully process. So because of that, your first paycheck will guaranteed be a live paper check that will have to be picked up in person or mailed out. For information instructions on mailing, I do recommend reaching out to our payroll department, and they will be able to provide you that information. If you do have any other questions or concerns pertaining to any of the paperwork in the new hire paperwork packet, please do not hesitate to reach out to HR and we will assist you however we can. Thank you.